to stop flying and eat red meat, all of that stuff. Well, the Swedish climate change doomster has resurfaced to moan that nobody's listening to her. Upset with the lack of climate change discussion in her country's election. She's moaned, "It's been 4 years since I started striking from school and a new election is on its way. The climate crisis is still absent from the debate. The most affected people from the most affected areas are still being silenced." Since Greta barged her way onto the international stage, bringing her message of death and destruction, she's given speeches at the UN, Glastonbury, the French National Assembly, the British Parliament, the World Economic Forum, the European Parliament, COP26, and more. So far from being silenced, Greta, the truth is, we're just sick of hearing from you. Oh, God, do you remember this classic?
Back in school, on the other side of the ocean. Yet, you all come to us young people for hope. How dare you?
Well, Greta, how dare you? Look where 5 years of your prophecies have got us. We're now in the worst energy crisis imaginable, with insane net zero policies leaving even the middle classes choosing between heating and eating. Brendan O'Neill, has the Greta Thunberg bubble finally burst? Are we finally going to ignore this annoying little Swedish teenager who has no idea about the challenges facing so many ordinary folk? And by the way, Brendan, I say this as an environmentalist.
I hope the cult of Greta Thunberg is over. I'd forgotten just how annoying she was until I saw some of the clips you were playing there. She really was irritating. But even worse than Greta herself was the way in which politicians and the media elites fawned over her. I think that's one of the most embarrassing political spectacles of modern times. You had this girl being treated as the head of some kind of religious cult. She was almost worshipped as this childlike messiah come to save us from our sins, come to issue punishment against mankind for his eco-transgressions and all his pollution. And you had these politicians falling at her feet and saying, yes, Greta, we will go to net zero. We will wind in energy production. We will reduce the amount of climate emissions we are causing. And look at the end result. The end result is that we have an energy crisis. We have a situation where, as you say, people are having to choose between heating and eating, and we are not creating enough energy to keep society chugging along. I think that is a direct consequence of the green cult of the past few years.
It is. It was all very easy, wasn't it? A couple of years ago, Brendan, a few years ago, when folk like Michael Gove decided to worship at the altar of Greta. You know, at that point, we weren't facing an energy crisis. We weren't facing these massive bills. But the reality has hit home now, and we know how damaging those green levies are. I know Liz Truss is saying she's going to remove them temporarily. Well, I'm sorry, it needs to be permanent.
Oh, absolutely. I think net zero just needs to be scrapped. And we have to accept the fact that if you have a world of billions of people, you need to be able to create a lot of abundant and cheap energy. That's what keeps society going. But what we've had over the past few years is this demonization of energy, this demonization of oil and coal and nuclear power, and this worship of wind power and solar power, which just cannot make modern society work. And this worship of reining everything in and shrinking the human footprint. So I hold environmentalists responsible for a lot of the problems we currently face. And I'm getting increasingly irritated with leftish talking heads in the media who say, oh my God, there's a recession. How did this happen? What are we going to do about it? And I think to myself, listen, you guys helped to bring this about with the kind of ideologies you have been promoting. For example, George Monbiot at The Guardian, he wrote a piece a few years ago called Bring on the Recession, because he wanted to lower mankind's economic output. This is what they've been calling for. Yeah. And now we can just see how horrific the consequences of their politics can be.
Well, that absolute idiot, I mean, he's as bad as Thunberg, wants to shut down all farming in Britain, ban us all from eating meat. I mean, the reality is they want to take us back to pre-Victorian times. I think it's so important, Brendan, that you've raised the media, because they are so complicit in this. They treated Greta as a celebrity. There was no interrogation of actually what her policies would mean.
Yeah, exactly. And anyone who did raise questions was instantly denounced as a bully. How dare you question or pick on this young girl? She was 16 or 17 at the time. So they used her as a kind of force field to protect climate change alarmism from serious political debate and from serious political critique. So there was something very cynical in the way that she was used by the political class as a kind of rallying cry for shrinking the human footprint and rein in economic growth. I think what lots of people are waking up to now is that we need more economic growth. We need more energy production. We need to become independent in our energy production here in the UK rather than relying on foreign regimes. And that's what we need if society is going to work. We've got to stop listening to the Greta Thunbergs of the world, Extinction Rebellion, and all the other Greens in the political class itself, and instead recognize that we really need to push society forward in order to keep everyone warm, well-fed and wealthy.
Couldn't agree with you more, Brendan. I mean, net zero was enforced on us by the elites. And when are they going to start realising that actually it's our lives that they are impacting, and actually it's about time we get a say? And I think as the energy bills start to increase, more and more people are becoming educated on this.